Hi and welcome back to my channel, and in this video I'm going to be talking about how to fund a project for homeschooled children. So this is something that I've been asked lately because people have seen that I run a CIC, and on a Friday morning I have teenagers who are homeschooled in, and we do zine making. So that's various different arts activities that we do on a Friday. It's fantastic for their self-esteem, their socialization, their creativity, and also gives them various different work experience opportunities as well. So I run that, and people have been asking me, how do you fund it? Is it difficult to get it grant funded? Is there alternative ways? Now, I actually don't use grant funding for that particular project. I use alternative funding. So I'm going to go through in this video what those alternative funding methods that I use are, how that is completely funding the activity so it's free for the parents, and how also you can get it funded by grant funders, but how you need to tweak those applications and be careful how you word it. So I'm going to be talking about all of that in this video, and I do just want to say that if you are running a CIC for young people, I think doing something for the homeschool crowd is a very good idea because it is a massive group of people now in our society. A lot of parents are pulling their kids out of school. It's a huge alternative education system that is now growing. So I definitely think CICs are in a fantastic position to be able to deliver some of that alternative education. But before I get into that, please hit the subscribe button for everything to do with community interest companies, grant funding, and all of that. If you want to set up a community interest company, then do go over and check out my online course, How to Set Up a CIC and Get Grant Funded in 4 months. It's still only £99, and literally people are doing that course, getting their grant funding of like 20,000 in a few weeks. Had somebody message me the other day, said they've got 50,000 now just because they did my course. So it's a really, really good course. Go and check that out. Also, I have my membership CIC tribe if you want to go over and join that, and that will give you regular access to me so you can ask me questions in several groups that I run during the week. So the homeschool crowd is a massive, massive growing group of people in our community. So often people are now bringing their children out of the school system and looking for alternative ways to educate them. That is for a variety of different reasons. Some of those reasons include maybe they've been bullied, maybe they're neurodivergent and the schools can't cope, maybe because there's a lack of resources in the schools, the school sizes. Sometimes parents are disagreeing. I know there's a lot of Christian parents, for example, that are now homeschooling. So there's lots of different reasons why people are now homeschooling their children. Now, this group of people, a group of children, can be disadvantaged because they may not have the resources. It's not like their local government give the money that they would have spent on their schooling to the parent to invest in alternative education. Often those parents have to then go and pay for those activities. Well, that's extremely difficult for parents. So that means that CICs are often stepping in. Sometimes CICs are running paid sessions, which of course they can do, but often the ones that I know that are running paid sessions are still doing it at a massive discount. So it's still a lot cheaper than if the parent was, say, to go and pay for childcare or some of the other alternatives. So CICs are sometimes offering activities that are discounted, and many are offering them for free. Now, I offer free activities for homeschooled teenagers, and I do that on a Friday for Zine Swap Shop in my local area, and I absolutely love the sessions. It's fantastic. I absolutely can see the advantages that it's having in terms of improving those young people's confidence, their social skills, bringing them out of the house. I sometimes say to them, what would you be doing if you weren't here? And they're like, still be in bed, or I'd just be sat at home on my own doing my schoolwork. And it's, it's quite sad. And so for them to be able to come into that space, it is really valuable. So I absolutely love it, and I completely recommend it. I also find homeschool children really brilliant to be around. They often have actually good communication skills. I think maybe because they've been around adults quite a bit. And actually, I find they're a really fantastic group to work with. I love working with neurodivergent children anyway, because I find they're really creative and they produce the most incredible artwork in my sessions. So I really love the sessions, and I have been able to fund those through various different ways. So I'm going to tell you in this session how you can fund a regular homeschooling activity. So number one, I would say you don't have to be a CIC, of course, but the advantages of being a community interest company is that you can apply for grant funding, you can fundraise, and you are not liable. So that's really important, especially when you're doing stuff with children. So although, yes, some of you may be homeschool parents, you're like, well, I'd just like to just do this. I don't want to be a CIC. I just want to do this. But then you've got to factor in all of those things. Like, what if something went wrong and then you were liable? You've got to think, if you are set up as an organisation, it takes that personal liability away. So personally, I would never recommend you go about this yourself. But yes, admittedly, you could self-fund it. But it would certainly be a lot harder. So if you do set up as a community interest company, then that opens up the world. So here are your options. Number one, you've got grant funding. Now, here's the caveat with grant funding. The National Lottery Community Fund won't fund anything in school hours that's related to school curriculum activities. So how you would have to get around that is I would then run the sessions after school, in school holidays, in term time, and focus more on the social aspect of working with homeschooled children. Arts, creativity, sports, fun activities. Focus on the socialisation, building their self-confidence, getting them all together. Focus on those things. That would be a more solid project to be able to get the National Lotteries Community Fund through. If you put an application in and say you want to do English and Maths on a Wednesday morning with homeschool kids, they will reject it. So that's just how that works. So that's my first tip to getting around it. Now, you haven't just got the community fund, you've got other grant funds as well. Now, your local council, other grant funds may allow you to do stuff in school time, especially if you're able to justify why those children aren't in school. So for instance, if you're saying they were bullied or they have SEND issues that mean that the school system couldn't cope, these are all very legitimate reasons to why they've then come out of school. So you could think about actually putting through an application that argues those things. And we know as well that if children come out of school, there can be some extra risks. So you can argue that actually it's really important that we engage these young people still, even if they're not in the mainstream education system. We need to be engaging them, and that's really important for society because there could be some extra risks, like their mental health could decline, they could be exploited by gangs, they could be, falling into offending. They could really damage their social skills, so then they find it difficult to go to college and work. So there's a lot of risks there, so you could highlight those risks. And instead of maybe calling them homeschooled children, you could say children not in education. Because when you say homeschooled, it kind of makes it sound like you've got that sorted. Whereas if you say, no, these are disadvantaged children that have had to leave mainstream education for these reasons, then it sounds a bit different. So thinking about your wording definitely matters. I would say children in need are a fantastic funder, and I've done projects for homeschool children with children in need before. Local authority funding. I've also had my local authority, I have had them pay for the children. Now, it's tricky to get, but it is available. You can get it. Some children qualify, others don't. It's a bit of a mishmash system, but I have had sessions paid for by local authority. You can also try to argue with your local authority to give you a contract if you're doing really good work. But again, a lot of the time they'll turn around and say, well, why can't you just go to mainstream education? So you'd have to really highlight why you can't. And that's usually to do with neurodivergent issues or something around that. So those are the issues with grant funding. But in terms of grant funding, you would be able to pay for your venue. You'd be able to fund, you and some other staff to run the projects. You'd be able to fund the art materials. So it would just get all of that stuff covered. So to be able to get grant funding is a great idea. Now, next, I'm going to cover alternative to grant funding. So this is what I'm currently using for my model. So why am I doing this? So I wanted to run this session on a Friday and I wanted to be free of the grant funding just because I do it so much in my day job, obviously running CIC Tribe. I just can't be bothered to be doing with all the applications. I just want to keep it simple and I just want to run just that one session and I want to do it in school time as well. So I have actually found that a really good way to fund it is through other alternative fundraising. So I use affiliate links and I use Easyfundraiser. So Easyfundraiser is something I've talked about in another video on here, but Easyfundraiser is an app, and I'm going to put the link in the description that you can download on your phone. If you get you and all of the other homeschooled mums to do it, to spend their online shopping money through the app, your CIC will then gain a little bits of commission. So that's really good way to bring in all of that income to your CIC. So Easyfundraiser is one way. Another one is affiliate links. So affiliate links is when, say, I am recommending various different products, art products and stuff to my workshop, to my parents, say the kids loves using a certain paint or something. They're like, oh, where can you get this? Then I would say, well, here is my affiliate link for Amazon. If you buy it through this link, it also helps fund the CIC. So they'll often go and then use the affiliate links that I've given them to buy the products, the recommended products. So I have those all listed on my website. So it's really easy for them to just go to the website, choose the items that they want to buy, and then I get income through using the affiliate links. I use affiliate links for all sorts of stuff. I use it on my other business as well. So with CIC Tribe, because so many of my CIC Tribe community are buying different things for me, whether it's their business insurance or an AI that I'm recommending or whatever it is that I'm recommending, I always make sure I've got an affiliate link for it so that the affiliate link then generates income from my actual business into my CIC. So if you've got a business, or maybe you or your partner or one of the other homeschool ed people have got a business where you're recommending products, say you're a beautician or a builder or whatever you are, say you've got a business and you're recommending products, recommend them through affiliate links and link the affiliate links to the CIC. This then brings in extra income. So just to give you a ballpark figure, I'm earning almost $1,000 a month into the CIC. That is enough to pay for our art materials, pay for our venue, and I do recommend you get a low-cost venue or a free venue just to keep things down, and also my wage to actually go and host it, or sometimes I hire in another artist to come in and host it. So that gives us plenty of money to run the project, because really, to give you a ballpark figure of what it costs, a morning session once a week isn't that expensive. I don't run it in school holiday times, only in term time. So 36 sessions a year, where you've got to pay, I'd pay about £30 in rent for the hire of the room for half a day, and then you could pay for a few refreshments, pay for obviously the art materials, which actually I stretch really far. So the art materials, if you're good with them, if you use stretcher paint, if you know what you're doing, you can really stretch your resources. Some of my more expensive sessions are the ones with spray paints. They are more expensive, but even then, it's not that bad. We've done a whole mural before, and I've probably spent maybe about 40 quid on paints. It's not that bad. So if you've got that income coming in, you're using those affiliate links, you're bringing in that extra income, you can easily cover a lot of those costs. So have a think about that. The next thing you could do, of course, is donations. So you could ask people to pay whatever they could afford, make a donation. Generally speaking, I don't like to do that because I think, well, I'd rather you just use my affiliate links, because then I don't like asking people for money, and I don't want parents to feel that they struggle to afford it. And actually, I find that the parents are actually more proactive and raise more money when they use the affiliate links than if I was to just be like, can you put some money in a bucket? So actually, I find that they raise more money that way. So using Easyfundraising, getting them to help you with that, is definitely a really good way to self-fund your projects. So I hope that was useful and that's given you some ideas. Do drop into the description where I've got that Easyfundraising link. And also I've dropped it in the description, my Zine Swap Shop website, so you can go on there and you can see how I've laid out my marketplace with all of my affiliate links. So I hope that helps and inspires you, and I hope that you're going to be able to set up some really impactful projects in your community helping homeschooled children.